When all of this pandemic stuff started coming down, I had an increasing sense of disorientation, and it began to grow into panic and dread, thinking, what's going to happen? Because my work, my life revolves around gathering large groups of people together. And I was looking at the possibility of not being able to do that for a long time, which meant not only losing wages, but it also meant losing opportunities to connect with people and to create and perform, which is just such a huge part of my life. And I'm grateful that I get to do it. And this sense of dread and panic kept growing in me till I got to a point where I was thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. And probably everybody knows that voice that says, I can't do this. What am I going to do? And I sat down with my favorite book, which is a book by Pema Chodron. This is Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change. This is basically my Bible. This is basically my Book of Common Prayer. I've read this, I think I'm on the sixth time through this, and I just read it cover to cover. I read a couple of pages and then I sit and I meditate. I've been a practicing Buddhist for many years, and Pema Chodron is really my guide. So I opened the book to where I had the bookmark, and I started reading, and it said, if you resist that kind of panicky energy, even at an involuntary, unconscious level, the fear can last a long time. The way to work with it is to drop the storyline and not pull back or buy into the idea this isn't okay, but instead to smile at the panic, smile at this dreadful, bottomless, gaping hole that's opening up in the pit of your stomach. When you can smile at fear, there's a shift. What you usually try to escape from becomes a vehicle for awakening you to your fundamental, primordial goodness, for awakening you to clear mindedness, to a caring that holds nothing back. So I know I'd read that before, but there was something about reading it that day that just went right to where it needed to go. What I experience of meditating is not I'm trying to get to some kind of zoned out place of peace and tranquility and om and all this stuff that you see in movies. To me, meditation is about a deep acceptance of exactly what is, and knowing myself to the point where I am looking at everything that's going on and I'm saying, this is what's going on. So what Pema was offering us to do, and she's basing her writings and her experience on generations of Buddhist teachers, is to look at these scary feelings, the fear, the panic, the dread, to look at it and to smile and to say, here we are. What can we learn from one another? Not to let the fear drag you by the nose and whip you around, and not to avoid the fear, not to run from it, and not to do all of these things that we do to keep ourselves from feeling fear, but to look at it and say, here you are, here I am, let's feel this. And it's so scary with fear, because fear is one of those emotions that we do just animalistically, evolutionarily, we do everything in our power to not feel fear and to respond to fear as if there's an immediate threat. And yes, this is an immediate threat. We need to do everything we can to keep this virus from spreading, but we don't need to add emotional, psychological pain and suffering on top of that. So, what I realized I'd been doing was I had been trying to make myself completely okay with this because I'm competent, I'm responsible, I could do this, and to not I wasn't allowing myself any sense of grieving or any sense of dealing with it, just taking a breath and saying, what does this mean? How do I feel? I went right into, I've got to master this. And you know what? None of us has mastered this yet. We're in the process of mastering this as we go. And that means there are times when we're going to just have to lie on our back in the middle of the living room floor and cry, or breathe deeply, or just say, I can't do this, and realize and recognize that's what's going on. I wrote something on Facebook, and there's just one line that really resonated with me because I wrote it just like, oh, that's true. And the line was, the pain isn't here to hurt you. The pain is here to say, this hurts. So we respond as if the pain is coming at us with knives and guns and all kinds of phantoms of ghosts and everything. And we respond, we run away from the pain. But the pain is only here to say, this hurts. The pain in many ways is our friend. And the more we turn that away, the more we run from that, and the more we ignore and deny the fact that we feel pain, we feel fear, the worse off I know I am. So I would like to encourage all of us to just take time to sit with what's going on. Take time to sit with what you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel afraid. Allow yourself to feel sad. It's weird. It's disorienting. And with that knowledge and with that acceptance, I think then we can gather the strength to say, okay, now what can we as a species do? What can I as an individual do? And I cannot recommend this book highly enough. I love Pema Chodron. I love Buddhism. I love this whole thing. So this was really, this is a turning point for me. And so I wanted to share that.